There comes a moment after 50 when many people begin to feel a quiet slowing. Not always physically, but mentally, emotionally, creatively. It happens so subtly that it often goes unnoticed until it feels permanent. Curiosity fades. Passion softens. Ambition becomes something that lives in the memory rather than the present. Many people begin to believe that growth is only a privilege of the young, that new dreams belong to earlier decades, and that reinvention is a luxury they no longer possess. Yet none of this is actually true. Human beings are wired for lifelong growth. The brain is built to reshape itself through new experiences, new thoughts, and new challenges. Identity is designed to evolve at every age. Every decade is meant to be a chapter, not a conclusion. So why do so many people over 50 stop growing? And why does only a rare 1% continue rising with each passing year? The answer lies in a single shift. A shift that is more powerful than motivation, more sustainable than willpower, and more transformative than any dramatic life change. This shift begins with a 1% daily habit. But before we explore the habit, we must understand the forces that quietly push people over 50 into stagnation. Number 1. The comfort trap. By the time people reach 50, they have built a life that feels predictable. Careers stabilize. Roles solidify. Routines become familiar. At first, this feels comforting, even rewarding. However, comfort has a hidden cost. It reduces novelty, limits challenge, and gradually weakens the desire to explore. Growth requires friction, but comfort removes it. Over years, this slowly trains the brain to stop reaching. Number 2. Identity becomes a prison. People often lock themselves into old identities. They say things like, "I am not a creative person," "I am too old to start that," or "my time has passed." These statements shape reality more than any external limitation. When identity becomes fixed, growth becomes impossible, no matter the age. 3. Curiosity fades without intention. Curiosity is not automatic. It must be nourished. Without conscious effort, daily life becomes repetitive. Curiosity fades slowly, then rapidly, then permanently. Once curiosity dies, growth follows. 4. Pressure to maintain, not evolve. Many people spend the first half of life building something and the second half protecting it. They become guardians of stability instead of seekers of possibility. This shift in mindset suffocates growth. 5. Fear of starting small. At 50, starting again feels intimidating. Starting small feels embarrassing. But every reinvention begins small. Those who refuse small beginnings never experience large transformations. The 1% daily habit that reverses stagnation. The people who continue growing beyond 50 share one universal habit. They introduce 1% of newness into their lives every single day. Just 1%. Not huge risks. Not massive leaps. Just a tiny, intentional act that nudges their brain into fresh territory. This 1% could be anything that signals novelty. Reading one new page, taking a different route, learning one new word, engaging in one new conversation, asking one unusual question. Practicing one unfamiliar skill, trying one new food, watching one short educational clip, writing one paragraph, walking one new path. This 1% of novelty activates neuroplasticity, ignites curiosity, and reawakens the desire to explore. Over time, 1% becomes identity. Identity becomes momentum. Momentum becomes growth. The 1% habit works because it bypasses resistance. It is small enough that the mind does not fight it, yet meaningful enough to reshape thought patterns. The secret is not intensity, it is continuity. Growing after 50, a new chapter, not an ending. People who practice this 1% rule become part of the rare 1% who continue growing long after others have stopped. They become more open-minded, more adaptable, more confident, and more alive. Their sense of purpose strengthens. Their social connection deepens. Their passion expands. Life begins to feel new again. If you are over 50, your story is still in motion. Your potential has not expired. Your creativity has not vanished. You can still evolve, still transform, and still rise. All it takes is 1% a day, 1% curiosity, 1% courage, 1% action, 1% possibility. Growth never stops unless you stop choosing it.